Military life is unpredictable. Emergencies don't wait for payday, and sometimes the military's own administrative system is the thing that fails you. That's why every service member needs an emergency fund, not to admire, to use, then to rebuild. That cycle, build, use, rebuild, that's what we're covering today. Civilian financial advice will tell you an emergency fund is a safety net. That's true, but military life, that adds layers of financial risk that civilians don't deal with. PCS moves cost money, even when the military is reimbursing you. Hotel stays, security deposits, utility setup fees, fuel, hiring movers, you pay all of that up front. And reimbursement, that comes later. That gap has got to be covered by something. DFAS errors are more common than they should be. Miscalculated allowances, delayed corrections, allotments that don't transfer cleanly after a move. The money is owed to you, but it's not in your account right now. Long commutes and remote duty stations, that means higher vehicle wear. Car repairs near bases aren't cheap. And uniform and gear replacement, loss or damage happens, sometimes it comes out of your pocket. TDY and TAD travel, you pay up front and get reimbursed later. That float has to live somewhere. And family emergencies when you're deployed. When you're downrange and something happens at home, your family needs to act fast. They can't wait for a conversation with you. They need resources. So the bottom line is, even if you're completely squared away, the system around you, that isn't always squared away. According to CFPB and financial readiness research, many Americans are unable to cover an unexpected emergency expense without borrowing money. An emergency fund, that's your buffer against that reality. I've seen the same financial mistakes come up again and again for military members. So let's break down a system that's practical and easy for you to follow. The standard financial advice is 3 to 6 months of expenses. That's the right long-term target. It's not where you start though. If you open this video with zero in savings and I tell you to save 6 months of expenses, you close a tab. That's not a plan, that's just a number. But here's how you actually build this out. Tier 1 is $500. This is your starter fund. It handles the small emergencies that would otherwise go on a credit card. A car repair, a busted phone, an unexpected fee. Get here first. That's the only goal right now. Tier 2, that's 1 month of expenses. First, figure out what your monthly nut actually is. That number is very different if you're single and in the barracks versus living off base with a family. Once you know it, build towards covering 1 full month. If your monthly expenses are around $2,000, your Tier 2 goal would be $2,000. Housing, food, transportation, the basics. This handles the medium hits of DFAS gap, PCS float, or medical expense. 1 month, that gives you breathing room. Tier 3 is 3 months of expenses. This is your primary long-term target. 3 months means you can absorb a major hit, take time to recover, and not be making financial decisions under panic. It's your resilience fund. And once you're here, keep pushing towards 6 months. Setting Tier 3 as a milestone, that's going to make it easier to reach that higher goal because you've already built the habit. You don't need to hit Tier 3 this year. You need to hit Tier 1 before the end of this month. And then you build from there. Here's the mindset shift that changes everything. Your emergency fund is a tool. It's not a trophy. It's not a number you hit and you protect forever. It's a tool you reach for when the situation calls for it. You will drain it sometimes. Bad PCS, a rough month, a family situation that cost more than you planned for. When that happens, you use your fund correctly. That's not failure. That is exactly what it is designed for. But before you reach for it, apply this filter. There's 3 words: unexpected, necessary, and urgent. An emergency qualifies when it hits all 3. It came out of nowhere. It has to be dealt with, and it can't wait. So what counts under that formula? Sudden home repairs, auto repairs, medical emergencies, a DFAS error that leaves you short on rent. What doesn't count? Getting invited last minute to a destination wedding, or a sale on gear you've been eyeing, wanting to upgrade something because it's convenient. Those are wants in disguise, and that's what the credit card is not for either. The mistake is 2 things. 1 is not having the fund when you need it, so you reach for a credit card instead. And 2, draining it and walking away, not rebuilding. Because after a big hit, you rebuild slowly. Even if it's $50 a paycheck, you get back to Tier 1, then Tier 2. In the cycle, it's build, use, rebuild. And you will repeat that cycle more than once in a military career, probably more than once in a decade. That's not a setback. That's adulthood. That's financial resilience. And every time you rebuild, it gets a little faster, a little more automatic, because you've already built the habit. And this is worth its own conversation, because service members, especially junior enlisted, they get this wrong in both directions. Some people treat the fund like it's untouchable. They've got $800 in savings, a medical bill hits, and they put it in a credit card because they don't want to touch the emergency fund. Well, that's backwards. The fund exists for that exact moment. The other side is treating the fund like a secondary checking account. Something comes up, it's not an emergency, it's just an inconvenience or a want, and you pull from it. Now, when the real emergency hits, there's nothing there. Run everything through your filter: unexpected, necessary, and urgent. All three. And then you can use the fund without hesitation. But if you're missing even one, you gotta find another way. So a few military-specific examples. Your orders get cut early and you need to cover lodging out of pocket before temporary lodging expense or TLE kicks in. That's the fund. Your vehicle fails inspection and needs immediate repairs to get on base. That's the fund. A family member needs to fly to you on an emergency leave. That's the fund. A new uniform item because yours is worn out. Well, that's planned maintenance, not an emergency. Your buddy's going away party. That's a social expense. Build those into your regular budget, but keep this fund clean. Tactically, here's how you get money into this fund. Automate small amounts, $10 to $50 per paycheck. You won't miss it, but it compounds fast. $25 a paycheck is $600 a year. Your tier fund in under a year without feeling a thing. Use allotments. This is the military advantage most people aren't using. An allotment goes to savings before your pay even hits your checking account. You never see it, so you never spend it. Set it up through MyPay and don't touch it. Deployments are your best savings window. Expenses drop. Income may increase with hazardous duty incentive pay or hostile fire imminent danger pay. In a combat zone, some pay becomes tax-free. If you come home from a deployment without a significantly larger emergency fund, that window closed without you using it. So don't let that happen. Use windfalls with intention. Tax refunds, re-enlistment bonuses, back pay, reimbursements. These are not spending money. Half goes into the emergency fund. All of it if you're starting from zero. Cut your base bleed. That's the small daily spending that happens around base without you noticing it. You know, the coffee run, fast food at lunch, the impulse purchase at the PX. Track 1 week of spending near base, and you'll find $50 or more that could be going to your savings instead. So, where do we keep this? Short answer, somewhere separate, accessible, and earning something. Not in your checking account. That money's gonna get spent. It needs to live somewhere you have to make a deliberate decision to access it. Not in investments, not in TSP, not locked in a CD. Emergency funds need to be liquid. You may need it in 48 hours. It cannot be tied up. A high-yield savings account is the right move. USAA and Navy Federal are fine for simplicity if you already bank there, but a dedicated HYSA, SoFi, Marcus, Ally will earn you real interest while the money sits. Your emergency fund should be working even when you're not using it. So if you keep $5,000 in an HYSA earning up to 3.8 APY, you'll earn about $190 in interest over a year. That same money in a traditional savings account earning 0.05% will only earn a few dollars. We'll have links in the description so you can check those out. So the key word is separate. Separate account, separate from checking. Label it specifically so you always know what it is and what it's for. A few situations that come up a lot for military members specifically. Living in the barracks. Your monthly nut is lower. Housing and food are largely covered. Now that's an advantage. Use it. If you're in the barracks and you're not building an emergency fund, you're leaving your best savings window on the table. So start at tier 1 and push hard while your expenses are low, because it gets harder to build savings once you're paying rent. In dual military households, you got 2 incomes, 2 BAH situations depending on dependent status. The risk is lifestyle creep. 2 paychecks can disappear very quickly. Each partner should have their own emergency fund, or you maintain a shared one that is sized for both. Don't assume the other person's income is going to cover the gap if one of you gets deployed or has a pay issue. So when you're approaching ETS or retirement, your emergency fund gets more important as separation approaches, not less. The income gap between military pay with allowances and a starting civilian salary can be very significant. Job searching takes time. Benefits gaps happen. Go into your transition with at least 3 months saved, ideally 6. The civilian world doesn't have allotments and military-grade auto pay. You'll need that cushion while you rebuild your financial system in a brand new environment. Now, let's talk about the credit card issue, because it comes up every time. Why do I need an emergency fund if I have a credit card? Well, that's because a credit card, it's not a solution, it's a delay. you still owe the money, and now you owe interest on top of it. So if a $2,000 emergency goes on a credit card with a 20% APR and it takes 6 months to pay off, you end up paying over $100 in interest. That's money you could have avoided by having an emergency fund. The other piece, credit cards, they can fail when you need them most. Cards get frozen, limits get hit, a car issuer can change your terms. Your emergency fund doesn't have any of those failure modes. It's liquid cash that you control. One more thing, and this is especially relevant for junior enlisted. There are financial predators that specifically target service members. Payday lenders and high-interest finance companies, they cluster right outside the gates for a reason. A steady government paycheck, often young, often without a financial background. That's their target demographic. Know your protections. The Military Lending Act caps APR at 36% for active duty service members on most consumer loans. The Service Members Civil Relief Act caps pre-service debt interest at 6%. But the best protection is an emergency fund that means you never have to walk through those doors in the first place. Here's something nobody talks about. Building and maintaining an emergency fund is financial PT. You're doing reps. Every paycheck you move money automatically. Every time you resist spending it on something that isn't a real emergency. Every time you rebuild after you drain it. Those reps, they build something. They build the muscle that budgeting requires. What I've seen is that once service members get disciplined about protecting an emergency fund, once the habit is there, the rest of their financial life, it gets easier. Not immediately, but over time. Because the same discipline that says that money is off limits is the same discipline that sticks to a budget, avoids impulse purchases, and plans ahead for PCS costs. The emergency fund, that's your first financial habit. And that habit doesn't stay contained. It bleeds into everything else. Emergency fund discipline becomes budgeting discipline. That's the whole game. Let me be straight with you for a second. Most service members start from zero, especially early in your career. You're making E1 to E4 pay, you're figuring out how military life actually works, and nobody gave you a financial briefing that stuck. A lot of service members, they've drained that emergency fund. Some more than once. Some lost it to a PCS, some to a bad decision they made differently now, some to something completely outside their control. None of that makes you bad with money. It makes you human. And it makes you someone who now knows why this fund matters. Because the goal isn't perfection. The goal is resilience. You build it, life hits you. You rebuild. That's not a sign the system failed you. That's the sign the system's working exactly the way it was supposed to. You're not starting over. You're starting with more information than you had before. So, here's your mission before this video ends. Open up your banking app. Yeah, go ahead, right now, just open it up. Create a separate savings account. Name it emergency fund if your bank allows it, and move something into it. $20, $50, whatever you can. Not because $20 saves you from a transmission, but it's the act of doing it that's going to start the habit. And this habit is everything. So set up the allotment in My Pay. Even if it's just $10 a paycheck, make it automatic, make it invisible, and let it grow. The goal? Tier 1 first, $500. That's it. Everything else builds from there. Your emergency fund, that's your first step toward real financial stability. And the discipline that you build around it, that's going to carry into everything else. So if this helped, hit the like and subscribe. We cover military-specific personal finance here at Bullet Finance, and there's a lot more coming. So check the description for links to HYSA options and budgeting tools we actually recommend. And if you haven't seen the military budgeting episode, that's going to be the next one to watch. The emergency fund lives in bucket 3 of that system. This is Bullet Finance. I'll see you at the next one.